over the past few months, we've been going through a global pandemic, and even though a lot of people have been out of work and possibly even just completely lost their job, um,
Mm-hmm.
it's it's has also been an opportunity for a lot of people to start new businesses because it's the new normal sort of that we're going to have to be wearing masks for the foreseeable future. We're going to be having to work from home, and this is what brought me to speak to Leticia today because she has a very interesting story. So, hi, Leticia, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are
Yes,
you?
I'm great, thanks. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, like who are you, where you're from, and so on?
Well, my name is Leticia.
Mhm.
I'm almost 27 years old,
Mhm.
and I grew up in Denmark. I was born here, grew up here, and yeah,
Yeah. So, what is it that you do?
I do a lot of things.
Okay.
I'm a bit all over the place.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do a lot of things. I do part-time work like sales assistant. I do, yeah, a lot of. I have my hand in a lot of different stuff. Wherever I can get in, that's where I go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the reason why I wanted to speak to you was because I know you got into fashion design. But let's take it back a little to when you were younger.
hmm
What is it that you wanted to do when you grew up? What was your dream job?
It's a tricky question
Mm-hmm.
because I don't really think that I had anything specific that I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew that I wanted to be successful in something. Um, I mean, a lot of kids grow up thinking they want to be, I don't know, a policeman or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first thought that I had in my head when I was younger was maybe to become a lawyer,
Okay.
but I think that was like parents' influence coming through.
I see. Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise, I had a really interest in language,
Mm-hmm.
and it was something that came easy to me, like learning new languages and new cultures and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what I started. That's the educational path that I went into in the beginning.
Okay.
But then it switched, obviously.
Okay, and then it switched, and I guess it switched to
Fashion.
fashion design. Okay, and
Yeah.
then when did that come about?
The fashion?
Mm-hmm.
The fashion came about, I think it was about 2013.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
in 2013.
And then, and what did that switch involve? What did you have to do to get into the
Well,
fashion business?
I used to live in Odense,
Okay.
in Fyn. That's basically where I grew up most of my life. And as I said, I was studying language,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it just really wasn't for me,
Okay.
which I found out really quickly, like a year in. So I decided to do the research of how can I combine the things that I really love to do, which is fashion
Mm-hmm.
and also business
Yes.
and like marketing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I asked a counselor, like a student counselor, like what direction can I go in with these things that I really love, and how can I combine them? And yeah, so he advised me to like which schools that were available in those fields and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out that the one that was most convenient for me was a school in a university in Copenhagen. So I decided to move.
Okay.
Yeah, so I decided to move, and maybe a bit less than a year after, that's when I started studying, like fashion. Yeah, I started studying fashion basically.
Okay. So how was the how when you? I guess you thought to yourself, okay, this is what I want to do. You thought it was going to be a much more comfortable path for you because this is something that you're a lot more interested.
Mm.
But what difference from your expectation did you notice when you started studying fashion?
How time consuming it was,
Mm-hmm.
because when you think about fashion, when you're not really in fashion, you don't really think about like the time that it's gonna take and what are the steps that are involved and how many factors actually come into play. So yeah, it was very time consuming, and that kind of shocked me because yeah, I didn't expect that.
Mm-hmm.
It was time consuming, but in a good way. Like
Yeah.
you were spending a lot of time on something that you really like doing, basically. And also how many like small details of how to create a garment, how many details that's involved, and yeah, there's just a lot of factors that play into it. It's not just like seeing a shirt and thinking, oh, somebody just made a shirt. No, there's a whole process, which I didn't know about before going into it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty interesting, and I'm pretty sure that for you to be inspired to get into this, there was some things that you saw, and there's some designers that kind of caught your eye.
Not really.
Not really. No.
To be honest, no, because I don't know how to really put it, but I've never really had any specific like, oh, this designer is doing this and that's what I want to do. Or
Yeah.
No, it's never been the case because I never really were into what everybody else was into. That since I was a child, that's never really been my thing. So what inspired me was not designers, but rather like my mom, my sisters, even my brothers, and just my culture from my country, Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
And the colors and the prints and all those things just really, really inspired me.
Okay, so that's where you draw most of your inspiration
Oh,
from, I
definitely.
guess. Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, that's pretty interesting. And I guess I see that. I think I saw when you completed your your fashion design course, you had to put together some sort of like a portfolio.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
We had a. Well, it wasn't at the. Well, yeah, we did a fashion show. It was not at the end. The one that you probably saw was not at the end of the course, but we had a fashion show that we had to plan ourselves and everything. And well, everything that I did in school, first of all, I always included my own culture.
Yeah.
I was like known for the girl that always does African, things and stuff like that, African print or whatever.
Yes.
I mean, but I didn't mind because that's what's come natural to me, and that's what I've grown up, around, and that's what I love doing. So.
Okay.
So yeah, we did a fashion show, and I of course included that, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Great
It looked pretty
well.
cool. It definitely looked pretty cool.
Thank
So after you were done with that,
Yeah.
obviously, now comes the part where you actually want to follow a career in fashion. So what challenges did you face when it came to that?
Some of the main challenges, I would say, was probably figuring out exactly what to do next. Like what product do you produce?
Yes.
Because there's a lot of, there's sustainability, there's a whole lot of stuff going on in the world,
Yes.
especially in the fashion industry. And it was a bit difficult to find out where exactly to place myself. I mean, I'm still figuring it out. But yeah, like what to do, because there's so many things that you could do. There's so many different garment options. There's accessories. There's jewelry. No, that's not fashion, but yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, there's so many things into fashion. So yeah, I would say what exactly to do. That was my main challenge that I really struggled with.
Well, I guess you actually found something that you could do
Yes.
this year.
Yeah.
When we had this whole lockdown or self-isolation, and then at some point when they decided to start opening things back up,
Yeah.
they were recommending people go outside wearing
Yeah.
face masks,
Yeah.
and you jumped onto the opportunity to do face masks.
Yeah.
So how did that come about?
It's a funny story, actually. It came about because, as I said, I was working in sales, and I think it was. I think the lockdown started around mid-March.
Yes, that's correct.
Of this year, and I had to go into work, and we obviously had to wear masks.
Yes.
And it was sold out everywhere. People were going crazy, so it was sold out everywhere. I even called around to the pharmacies and stuff and asked if I could get any, but they were sold out.
Yeah.
And I would say I've always been a solution type designer, so if I
Okay.
can't find something, I'll just make it myself.
All right.
Yeah, that's how I've always been. So I was like, okay, there's no mask around, so I'm gonna have to go to work with a mask on. So let me just make one quickly. So I made one in like an hour or something, and then I went to work with it, and I made it like kind of so it matched my uniform, kind of, but
Okay.
with an edge.
Yes.
So I came in to work with it, and people were like, "Oh, nice! I really like your mask." And I was like, "Oh, okay, nice."
Yeah.
There was a good response, but it was kind of weird because it's just something that I just fixed up really quickly. And people were like at work, they were like, "Oh, can you make me one? Can you make me one?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And then when I remember when I went home that day, I was thinking like, this is it.
Yeah.
It was like an epiphany,
Yes.
I was like, this is it, I can do it. So yeah, the ball just went from there,
All right. So you basically have like your everything set up at home and you're ready to.
I've transformed the whole living room. It's just a design studio.
Okay.
There's nothing. I mean, I don't do anything else in the living room. It's just showing.
Yeah, that's a certain level of dedication.
Oh,
to
yes.
what you want to do right there.
Indeed.
Okay, and apart from the fact that you learned that, if people are interested in my product, I might as well go ahead and give them exactly what they want. What else have you learned from the whole process?
That's a good question. I don't know. It's a bit hard. It's a hard question to answer because, I mean, the days just go and go and go, and it's so fast paced. So it's a bit difficult to pinpoint exactly the challenges.
Well, I would say, not necessarily the challenges. For instance, I guess apart from the fact that you have people that you worked with who directly asked you to make them a mask, and then that kind of pushed you forward and to go ahead and start making masks, you had to start thinking about things about like how were you going to market.
Oh, okay.
And so on.
Okay. Well, I would say the process was it was a bit like it extended a bit more than I anticipated because first of all I had to source the right material because the one that I made for myself that first day was not really. I could sort of breathe in it, but not really for a long period of time because it wasn't lined properly and stuff like that. So I had to kind of figure out, okay, how do I make a product that is actually, usable and that people can actually use and that they will be able to wear like for a whole day.
Yeah, something that was comfortable.
Exactly, and like long lasting and stuff like that. And I've never been a type to. I don't like. It comes maybe with a bit of sustainability, with the sustainability aspect, that I don't really like to throw out things.
Yeah.
I always repurpose. So I was thinking, I definitely don't want to make something that can be thrown out.
Yeah.
I want people to be able to reuse it again. So that was a really big point that I wanted to include. So yeah, I sourced the material and tried it out with different types of, all types of materials to see what could really work, and something that was breathable as well because you have to wear it for a long period of time, and try and see if it was washable, and a lot of things went on.
Okay.
But yeah, in the end, I figured it out, and I mean, I've made a few changes since the very beginning. Yeah. Very few, but a bit of changes here and there.
Okay, so when it came to actually trying to figure out how the mask was going to be put together with the type of right materials and so on, how long did that process take?
I would say it took about maybe half a month.
Okay.
Yeah, because I made the first one on the 17th of March, I think, and then I launched on the 29th of March. So that whole period was me figuring everything out. Like,
so you were pretty quick at getting this out.
Yeah, actually. It didn't feel like that in the moment.
Yeah.
In the moment, but looking back, it was kind of quick because I knew that it had to get done very quickly in order to, grab the opportunity while it was there, because nobody knew for how long it was going to be quarantine and lockdown and, what's the situation. So, yeah.
Okay. So apart from that, then you started doing all your social media stuff. and so on.
Yeah.
Did you have to start like for instance, I think your Instagram, did you have to start the account from scratch, or was it something that you already had?
No, I mean I had a regular Instagram, like a personal one,
Yes.
but then I created an additional like business account, you
Yes.
could say. Yeah, and that's where I kind of just put everything. Yeah.
Okay.
So you could say I created it from scratch, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. And then, fortunately, I've also noticed you've had some people with quite a following. Also,
Yeah.
wearing your mask, taking
Yeah.
pictures and sharing it. How's the response to that been? Has that been very helpful to the whole process?
It has actually.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the first one that I had was Karen Makuba.
Okay.
That was a good response to that as well. I feel like when people see a familiar person in something,
Yes.
even though they've probably seen the mask before, but they're not really sure if it's something that's reliable or something. But as soon as they see somebody that they like, then they're like, okay, I'm ready. Let's go for it. So there was a good response to that. And then when Mofande wore the mask as well, the whole thing blew up.
Okay. That's
the
awesome.
whole thing blew up completely.
Yeah, I think it's pretty brilliant that all these people kind of came together to offer some sort of support. And it's pretty interesting that Ms. Mkupa was one of the first people to get involved, and because she's also involved in some sort of fashion, and she has a boutique.
Yeah.
So how was the response from her? Did you ever have direct contact with her and talk about things?
In 2018, I had an internship in the store that Karen is a part owner of.
Yes.
Where there's her brand, Mokupa Original, and there's Ida Dakar, and then in recent years there's been more designers added to it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I have I had a direct, basically, conversation with her, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, I really like your mask and stuff. So would you like to, take a picture with it or something?" I mean, you have to ask.
Yes.
If you don't ask, then you don't know what you're gonna get. You just have to ask, and if it's no, then it's a no.
Yeah.
And I mean, the response has been great, and I'm very grateful for it.
Oh, that's brilliant. So now you kind of have had like I guess the spark moment where at least people can start recognizing or realizing what it is that you do. You have some sort of momentum through this period. Are there any plans to do anything in the future and expand on some other items apart from just the masks?
Yes.
Yes.
That's a lot of questions.
That's great. That's brilliant to hear. That's exactly what I want to hear, that you want to run with this and take it all the way to the finish line. Yeah.
I mean, I would definitely want to expand. As I said, earlier, it's all about figuring out what to do, because there's so many things that anybody could do.
Yeah.
Or that I could do. But for the moment, I feel like, especially now that the masks have, been an obligatory thing that you have to wear in most public spaces and stuff, I feel like I'm gonna ride it for a bit, and then maybe coming into the next year or something like that, something else is gonna come.
Okay.
I can't say what yet.
So you're gonna keep it a mystery.
Yeah. You're
However,
gonna have to stay tuned.
Yes, we will stay tuned, and hopefully when something does come out, we can have a conversation about that.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
But another thing, like, even though, you're not going to tell us too much about what's happening in the future, I think one of the biggest changes in recent years is this new wave of people becoming more Afro-conscious, like especially people from Africa or Afro people around the world. Have you realized any opportunities around what you could do when it comes to fashion in that respect? Because it seems like a lot of people are a lot more interested in wearing garments with Afro print and so on. What opportunities have you seen around that?
I mean, I would say at least for Scandinavia, especially in terms of the weather and stuff, we layer up a lot.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, things that you always are wearing, something that you always grab, is something that I'm more interested in.
Okay.
You know, occasional special occasion where it's not really my thing, because it's not really my style personally, and
Yeah.
I don't feel inspired doing something that I don't personally like.
Mm-hmm.
So I like doing everyday stuff, but with a twist.
Yeah.
You know, that's, you know, kind of my thing that I like to do. Yeah.
All right, that's pretty cool because at least you're thinking of fashion in terms of practicality
Yeah.
more than for the sake of aesthetics. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously,
definitely.
it's going to be aesthetically pleasing, but then the practicality seems to be your number one goal.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really cool. And then apart from all of this, you know, you told us a remarkable story, pretty exciting. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people out there, or there will be some people out there who've been playing around with the idea of following a similar path. What advice would you have for them?
Be
So
patient.
far, yeah, patience.
Be patient with yourself,
Mm-hmm.
first and foremost. And you don't have to fit into a box
Yes.
of, you know, what's happening at the moment or what's on trend, or
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously I made masks in a pandemic, but you know, but you don't have to follow the rules. Break
Yeah.
the rules.
Okay.
That has been my, like, I don't know, like, best thing to kind of keep in my mind, that I don't have
Mm-hmm.
to do something that everybody else is doing,
Mm-hmm.
because everybody have their own path, and you know, just do whatever feels right for you, and somebody's gonna like what you are doing. Basically, there's something for everyone.
Yes, that's basically it. I think, yeah, there's something for everyone.
Exactly.
So where can people find out more about what you're doing?
Yeah, so I have an Instagram page,
Mm-hmm.
which is Elbasi,
Mhm.
and it's ELLE dot BASII.
Okay.
Yeah, Elbasi.
Yes. And is that it? Is that the only channel that
For
they
the
can reach you?
moment, yes.
All right. That's
Things are coming, you know.
yes.
I'm a very, very busy person.
Yeah.
I have my hand, as I said, you know, I'm doing a lot of things, and basically Elbasi is just me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's very time consuming, and yeah, things are coming.
Yeah.
They're coming.
No, we will make sure that we share that with everyone, and so that they can at least get in touch with you if they want a mask.
Yeah,
And I guess that's the
definitely.
only way that people can reach out to you if they want to buy a mask. Yes. So we'll set that up, and hopefully we can help in fanning the flames and
So
and contributing to what happens in the future.
I appreciate that.
Right. And we wish you the best of luck. I wish you the best of luck,
Thank
and
you.
I hope some really awesome some more awesome things come out.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much for having this conversation with me
Thank
today.
you for having me.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure.
Yes. Thank you.